You're listening to 17 Carat K-Pop, the show that's a little bit of everything with a K-pop twist. Visit 17caratkpop.weebly.com for more information about the show. That's 17caratkpop.weebly.com. Enjoy the show! Hello everybody and welcome back to 17 Carat K-Pop. After a quick news roundup, then we are going to talk about all of the award shows that have been happening. The end-of-year K-pop award show season is in full swing. A lot has been happening, a lot of epic performances that I must recommend you check out. A lot to review that is positive and some thumbs downs as well. And then I want to give some attention to music videos that did not make the cut for my 50 best K-pop music videos list of the year, because there are a lot of honorable mentions that still deserve shoutouts and attention. So we will talk about some of those honorable mentions. To read the full list of my 50 favorite music videos of the year and to like a playlist that features all of them in order of rank, from 50 being at the bottom of the list to my number one pick, you can check that out at 17caratkpop.weebly.com. And then go to the blog section and it should be there. So without further ado, let's start with some news. A lot of unfortunate COVID-related updates. The ISACs, the Idol Star Athletic Championships for the 2021 Lunar New Year, have officially been canceled due to COVID. ENHYPEN all just got tested for COVID and all came back negative, luckily, but one of their staff members, or at least one that they came into contact with somewhere, was confirmed to be positive, so the ENHYPEN members underwent testing as a precautionary. IZ*ONE canceled some of their promotional events for their new album to go get tested, and that wasn't even for a specific reason, but just because of the increased spread of COVID throughout the entertainment industry that has really shooken it up, because since the beginning of the pandemic, really, it seems like in South Korea they got really in control of it very early on with testing and tracing, and so now to have this surge is very concerning for them more than ever, especially because just the other day, as of recording time, just the other day, South Korea reached 950 cases, which it was averaging close, like anywhere from 400 to 600 a day, and it just shot up to 950 in a day, and so they're going to have to enhance social distancing and other COVID-related safety guidelines now in Korea. So anyway, the increased spread has led to a lot of concern in the entertainment industry. An FNC Entertainment staff member also tested positive early in December, and so all managerial staff for FNC Entertainment are quarantining and working from home. The biggest news that shook up the K-pop world this week was when Chunha was confirmed to have tested positive for COVID-19. The timeline came out in a weird order, but if you restructure it, it sounds like this is what happened. On December 4th, Chunha had a birthday dinner, a small get-together, with a few other famous K-pop stars from different girl groups. And at that dinner, it seemed like everyone felt totally fine. Then they went to get tested after this meetup. On December 6th, Chunha got tested and it came back negative. And then December 7th, one day later, she suddenly tested positive. And then all of the girls who had been at that birthday dinner suddenly went into quarantine and got tested, and they've all been negative so far. But then there was this ripple effect within the K-pop industry of other artists who had crossed paths with those artists and now need to quarantine as well. Twice is currently doing promotional activities for their new single and for their latest they're just performing at end-of-the-year award shows and all of that. But anyway, all of Twice's scheduled activities for the next few weeks are just going to be Twice without Sana, who was at that birthday dinner and needs to quarantine, although her test came back negative. All the Twice members got tested and all came back negative. From WJSN, Bona and Yeonjun had interacted recently, and so Bona is now in quarantine, even though Yeonjun was the member who was at the dinner. And then, so now Bona's a story that she was working on for Homemade Love Story, that TV show has paused production temporarily. All the members of Momoland were also tested because they share a hair and makeup salon that Chunha does, and so they may have crossed paths with her there within the time frame that made sense that they could have gotten positive to. But luckily everyone in Momoland tested negative. So there's just a lot happening now regarding quarantines and testing, and it'll probably happen again within the next few weeks, frankly, because it sounds like award shows and end-of-year performances, except for that Idol Star Athletic Championships event, are still full steam ahead for now. Even if they're virtual, there's still a lot of interacting with other people, makeup and hair and costume designers, everyone who you see backstage at those shows. And I'm sure there are less of them there, but there's just still a risk. And so with an increased transmission lately in South Korea, that is very worrying. In better news, let's talk about the end of year lists that are coming out, because there are more of those. Billboard released its list of the 25 best K-pop music videos of 2020, and they included Blackpink's How You Like That on the list. Nolan Feeney wrote about this for Billboard, saying, quote, K-pop labels have budgets akin to a small nation's GDP. Side note, that is so accurate. But strip away the bells and whistles and capybaras of their usual event-level videos, and you'll still find something endlessly watchable. 4 pros who treat every single second as a battle for your attention, with enough body rolls and synchronized hair flips to qualify for an Olympic sport. Blackpink was also listed on Uproxx's list for the 50 best albums of 2020, and they were the only K-pop act that made that list. The review of the album for that list said, quote, it has tracks that wield aggression like it's a necessary accessory for rising pop stars. BTS and Blackpink both were featured on Billboard's list of the 50 best albums of 2020. For Blackpink's The Album, Billboard said, quote, not only builds on the foursome string of hits since their 2016 debut, it also provides the perfect entry point for soon-to-be Blinks to embrace the girls as they continue their meteoric rise. And Billboard's comment on BTS's Map of the Soul 7 was, quote, the 20-track album skyrocketed to the top of the Billboard 200, which we do need to stop and think about because that is huge for a K-pop act to get to the top of the Billboard 200, especially with a 20-track album. And if you're thinking about streams and things like that, and even just purchasing, because an EP tends to cost less to buy than a full-length album, a 20-track album, to have so many of its tracks rise on the charts and on Western charts, not just Korean charts, that was so monumental this year. BTS and Blackpink were both featured on Rolling Stone's list of the best K-pop songs of 2020. Ice Cream by Blackpink featuring Selena was called, quote, a power move on the American airwaves. And BTS's Dynamite was, quote, unmistakably the sound of BTS, tapping into the spirit of 80s disco, which is a perfect way to put it because, first of all, yes, unmistakably the sound of BTS, that's a great way to put it. It's just got that perfect energy and vibe. And then second of all, yes, it definitely tapped into that 80s disco flair, which was quite a trend in K-pop this year with Dinga and Magu, and there are probably a million more that I'm forgetting right now. Even I Can't Stop Me a bit. Anyway, so K-pop really latched onto that trend, as well as Western pop, so that was an interesting thing to note. Time magazine released a list of the 10 K-pop songs that define 2020, which I found very interesting. Some of it I definitely agree with. Some of it I'm not so sure, and I'll leave you to guess which ones I'm like, about. But the one I definitely agree with, of course, is Kick It from NCT 127, one of my ultimate highlights of the year in music, which I have gone on about at length on the show, so I'll stop now. But also 17's Home Run is there, which is well-deserved. Other songs on the list: Answer by ATEEZ, Lovesick Girls by Blackpink, Nonstop by Oh My Girl, Not Shy by ITZY, La Di Da by Everglow, Dum Durum by A-Pink, Maria by Hwasa, and Daisy by Pentagon. Side note, this was a really great year for girl groups. They were releasing bop after bop. I gotta say that. This is no surprise that they really conquered that list. The most Googled song lyrics of 2020 came out, and it was revealed, of course, that WAP was number 1, but number 5 was BTS's Dynamite, which was interesting. And for Tumblr's list of the most buzzed about topics on the site, BTS ranked 4th place for most talked about topic on Tumblr, and for most talked about K-pop star, Jungkook from BTS got 1st place for his 3rd year in a row of getting that. Lastly, the official list is here of the most tweeted K-pop accounts of 2020 globally. 10th place, Stray Kids. 9th place, Treasure, a rookie group, wow, super rookies. 8th place, ATEEZ. 7th place, TXT. 6th place, NCT 127. 5th place, GOT7. 4th place, 17. 3rd place, Blackpink. 2nd place, EXO. And 1st place, naturally, BTS. Some more BTS news. They were named Band of the Year by Consequences of Sound site. They became the first South Korean act to enter the top 10 of the Billboard Radio Songs chart. And for Billboard's new global chart for songs, half of the list is BTS songs for the Billboard Global chart so far. Lastly, from them, they were named Time's Entertainer of the Year. Dawnwoon from Highlight and Schumann from EXO both just got discharged from the military, so welcome back. Yeri from Red Velvet, her show Yeri's Room just got renewed for season 2. Jiho from Oh My Girl just joined Instagram, as well as Shiny's Minho. And at long last, BM from Card's clothing line is here. It's been talked about for over a year now. It's called Stadium, Staydium, and some of the proceeds are going to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. So make sure you check that out. It has worldwide shipping. Just go to stadiumla.com. Day 6's video for Time of Our Life just reached 10 million views. BTS's Make It Right just reached 100 million views. Blackpink's As If It's Your Last Dance practice video just got 200 million views, and reaching 300 million views, Twice's Feels Special, and BTS's On the Kinetic Manifesto version. Twice's What Is Love just reached 450 million views. ENHYPEN just became the K-pop rookie group to officially sell the most album copies in first week sales. And Johnny from NCT 127 just reached 4 million Instagram followers. Some 17 updates. Mainly, they've been at these award shows and performing there. Those are the main updates. And they also were at this thing called the QQ Music Boom Boom Awards, which is just the funniest name ever. Anyway, they won Asian Pioneer Idol Group at that event. Really quick version of Stay Tuned, the segment today, which is just about concerts and in the virtual space and the music industry and all of that. But today it'll just be about virtual performances. NCT is set to perform December 25th, so Merry Christmas to NCitizens, at the MTV World Stage for Indonesia in 2020. This is the 2020 version of that annual event, and Anne-Marie will also be performing there. But NCT are the K-pop kings, who self-proclaimed K-pop kings, as according to MTV World Stage Indonesia, for this event. B2B4U, the subunit for B2B, just announced their online concert is coming January 23rd of 2021. And the latest from the big hit label's New Year's Eve concert event through Weverse. The offline components are canceled due to the COVID spread in South Korea right now. So now the show will just be streaming online and no component that is physically going there to watch the show. But on the bright side, more guests have been announced as part of the lineup, so the show will feature cameos from Halsey, Lauv, and Steve Aoki, all BTS collaborators. We love to see it. That will start at 9:30 Korean time, December 31st, which I believe is like 7 a.m. Chicago time, Central time. The K-pop end-of-year award show season is in full swing, and frankly, I don't have a lot of thumbs downs this year for performances. Usually, it's about split which performances I was really into and which ones didn't do it for me. But this year, I was very impressed by all of the performances. It probably has to do with the fact that they all brought the energy, because I think they're all craving that live performance experience that we can't have right now. So I think the artists were really in their element and at their peak because they weren't dragging or anything. The energy was clearly there because they haven't been on tour or anything. They are fired up and ready to go, ready to perform. So I think they made for extra good performances this year. So my one negative about the Mamas this year, the Mnet Asian Music Awards, would just be that they happened, because as much as I enjoyed it this year, I do kind of wish that they hadn't done it, because like I said, the spread of COVID is increasing now there as we get into colder months and people congregate indoors more. And also just the behind the scenes and seeing all of the contact they had with each other, and just the sanitation questions that were raised by the dressing room situation, and it was just weird. And also that the person who came out to clean the podiums and stuff was, I don't know why they made her wear this like shiny, well, I guess I do know why, but anyway, they shouldn't have made her wear this very impractical silver jumpsuit while she was cleaning, because it just didn't look comfortable. And the really tall high heels, like, I would have tripped for sure, and then I would be on the floor and I would be freaking out because germs on the floor. Anyway, so it was quite an ordeal to pull this off. So I'm very curious. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall at the meetings where they discussed if they were going to go through with this at all this year and what they discussed, what variables they discussed. Like, fine, we'll go through with it, but this has to happen or this doesn't have to happen. Very curious how that went down. Anyway, there are so many performances that I really enjoyed, like I said, but I decided to narrow down the list to the top 10 that you ought to check out from the Mamas, and these are in no particular order. First of all, Monsta X with Beast Mode, because I could totally picture that being performed live. So when we do get to go to live concerts someday, I am so excited for Beast Mode to be their intro. I know it'll be their intro music, and it is just perfect for that. You just know that it's going to be literal fire and figurative fire, just like their performance was at the Mamas for that song. It is just so stadium ready, or at least arena ready. The Oh My Girl and G-Idol crossover stage, I love that because they did a special tribute to Miss A with Bad Girl, Good Girl. Their outfits were really cute, and also I love the ability to use the pun with Oh My G-Idol. Just fit perfectly. For the boys, I really thought it was cool what they did with their props. They had the best props of the night where they were on those, it's very hard to explain unless you watch, but they were basically kind of defying gravity and climbing up diagonal walls of swords. I don't know how to describe it, but it was literally captioned the performance from hell, but I would argue it was a heavenly show. There are more bad jokes in there somewhere, but let's move on. ATEEZ with Answer is a highlight because they had this really cool vampire-esque look going for them with capes and stuff, and it just was very visually very cool. Stray Kids with Victory Song, that was also very cool visually with a lot of shields and sword fights of sorts, and it was just like an action movie come to life for the song. Twice with Cry For Me was cool because it showed what they've been doing all year, which is showing a more mature side of themselves that still doesn't feel so mature that it's not Twice. It's still characteristic and very much them and very much their music. And it was just a special treat. They've been doing that this year repeatedly, where they premiere a song through some event or through one event or another, they perform a song that isn't even out yet for fans to get us talking about it and excited and begging for the studio version, and then they deliver it. And that's what they did here too, because Cry For Me is now officially going to be a single before the year even ends, which is really exciting. The triangle fight, as it was dubbed, that was cool. NCT, of course, was very action-packed, and that was extra cool to be an NCT. Merry Christmas to us again, because that lasted so long. So if you turn on the TV and we're just browsing channels and then just stop to watch like 40 minutes, you would have thought it was just an NCT tribute show, because they gave a special stage to all of the subunits, and so you got to see all the members carrying out their own creative vision for their own song. Wavy dancing literally in the rain was cool, and Kick It, of course, is iconic live. Taeyeon throwing the cape at the screen in that dramatic moment. It was just all there. I could go on and on about that. 17 brought Home Run to life, as we talked about on the last episode of the show. That is such a fun song. It's very just Broadway-esque. They brought the theater to us every time they perform it, and so it's just so much fun to always watch. They always bring the energy with that. BTS, of course, with On was cool with the marching band at the World Cup Stadium. They performed that part at, with the drum lines and everything that have become iconic and tied to the song On forever. And of course, they also had more sentimental moments for BTS, like Life Goes On, which they sang with. Although Suga's still recovering from his shoulder surgery, a hologram of him still showed up to sing with them, which was incredibly dope. Those are the performances I would check out. Beast Mode, The Boys with Reveal, which was dubbed the performance from hell. If you want to look up that, that's probably what it will come up as. The Oh My Girl and G-Idol crossover stage, the triangle fight scene, Answer by ATEEZ, Twice performing Cry For Me, Stray Kids with Victory Song, BTS's performances, NCT's, and 17 with Home Run. For New Artist of the Year, Gravity and Weekly won. Best Performance went to Monsta X. Best Dance went to Blackpink's How You Like That and BTS's Dynamite. NCT won a lot. They were one of the winners of the top 10 list for Worldwide Fans' Choice. They also won Favorite Male Group, Favorite Asian Artist, and From Home rearranged video. Didn't win an award, but it did in my book, and it was premiered at the event. The new version of the From Home video we talked about last time on the show. BTS was the ultimate winner of the night, winning Best Music Video, Best Male Group, Best Male Dance Performance, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Worldwide Icon of the Year, Artist of the Year, 2020 Visionary Award, Fans' Choice, Best Producer for their producer, P-Dog, Best Executive Producer for Mr. Bang, another member of big hit labels. Suga's collab with IU also won for Best Collab, and they also helped highlight how a lot of these awards are frankly repetitive. They have Visionary Awards and Icon Awards they give out every year, for example. I don't know, but not complaining about it, just pointing it out. A lot of artists won big at the Fact Music Awards. For the Artist Awards in general, they went to BTS, 17, Monsta X, Super Junior, New East, King Daniel, Mamamoo, IZ*ONE, Hwasa, Twice, and GOT7. The Popularity Award went to Super Junior. The Global Hottest Award went to ATEEZ, The Boys, Stray Kids, and G-Idol. Worldwide Icon Award went to BTS and 17. For Next Leader, ENHYPEN, Gravity, and Weekly. Listener's Choice, BTS. Best Performer, Jessie, TXT, and ITZY. If you watch any acceptance speech, watch Jessie's. It's very tear-jerking and emotional. I'd like to highlight what Jimin said in his Mama Award acceptance speech. Quote, "It feels like it's flown," he's referring to the year, "It feels like it's flown past to the point I can barely remember any of it, but also it's crawled by. I don't know what to make of it. It's been complicated. I've been happy, sad, angry, felt as though things are or are not remaining. But despite this, we survived and protected the things important to us, and I want to say to you that just like we lived through this year, we will press forward in the same way with you next year. I'm always thank you and I love you." And they went on to say, love you, Army, and we're getting through this together, and more about that. RM went on to talk about how time goes on and the sun always rises another day, and their overall message of the year that they've been sharing with us for a while. Some words that I think we can all agree were much needed to hear. The reminder that artists are people too, and that this year is hard on absolutely all of us. It will change and touch absolutely all of our lives. And so I love when artists with a platform like as big as BTS's, or even smaller, but anyone with a big platform, when they recognize the power that platform has and the way they can connect with people and use that platform for good, I just really appreciate that. When we come back, my honorable mentions for best music videos of 2020. What I would like to draw your attention to today is a GoFundMe, and here are some of the words from the statement that goes along with it. For the past few years, I've been hosting huge holiday events to spread the joy of Christmas to kids in my community. I love Christmas, and being able to spread the magic of Christmas to other kids is my favorite thing to do. In years past, we have done whatever we can to make our events something truly memorable, including having inflatables, arts and crafts, cookie decorating, stocking stuffing, a hot cocoa bar, real reindeer, book giveaways, cold weather gear giveaways, and a black Santa Claus. With COVID-19 this year, it is going to look a little different. Most of the stuff we normally do we won't be able to do this year, but Christmas is still coming, and I still want to be able to spread holiday cheer to as many kids as possible. Most kids here in the Flint area have been out of school physically since March of 2020. COVID has been rough on everyone, but the kids are often not thought about. I have 2 ideas for how to pull this off this year. We can do a drive-through event where families can come pick up toys, or we can do deliveries directly to the kids. This is a statement from Little Miss Flint in Michigan, and she would like to continue a special Christmas event for the kids there to just spread the Christmas cheer and make sure Christmas isn't canceled for them this year. So if you'd like to donate to help her make that happen, they still need donations to reach their $15,000 goal, and currently, as of recording time, it's less than $5,000 of the $15,000 that has been raised. So to find this official event page on GoFundMe, check it out. It is from the fundraiser Lulu Brezzell, Lulu, and then Brezzell, to help support the kids of Flint, Michigan, and make sure they have a good Christmas. There were literally hundreds on hundreds of incredible K-pop music videos that came out this year, so getting to my top 50 list and then ranking it was a gargantuan feat for me. It took so long, so please cut me some slack if your favorite video did not make the cut. There were so many to choose from, and a lot couldn't make the cut. but I decided to give tribute to more of them through my honorable mentions list, categorized based on why I think they deserve some honors. First of all, there are a few videos I'd like to shout out for just aesthetic purposes. G-Friend with Apple, that's a great video to watch for specifically outfits. There's this beautiful yellow gown worn in one scene that is just the ultimate prom look, and in general they have these gorgeous outfits that at first they're in these white outfits, and eventually then of course they eat the apple. We all know what that represents here, because then they have all these black outfits and they've given into the dark side in a way. They've got this dark lipstick and they just look incredible in this video. A-Pink with Dum Durum, that's an aesthetic video for sure to watch. Hyolin's Say My Name is a great one, again just for wardrobe inspo. She's really carved out this personal fashion style through her solo career and videos, so that's cool to watch. And she just has a very unique, quirky, brightly colored sense of style for her outfits. Every IZ*ONE video this year, I couldn't narrow down the list to one, especially their Japanese video for Beware. Make sure you don't forget about their Japanese releases. Although those don't get the same kind of promo that their Korean releases do, they deserve your attention. So check out Beware, it's really cute. It features this suitcase of sorts, and you open up the suitcase and it's like a pop-up world, and so the whole music video is these little members of IZ*ONE inside of the little world that is in a suitcase and then gets closed at the end. It's just a really cute lockbox type of concept. Anyway, it's a very cute video, and IZ*ONE always has very cool color palettes at play and lighting, and just they're very cool with aesthetics in their videos, and this year was certainly no exception, but a highlight I would point to is Beware. Lastly, for that category, Luna's Star. That has some cool little symbols and nods to previous videos, as they always have, and also it's just very bright and fun. My honorable mention videos for choreography. Chunha's videos, just like any of them, but particularly Stay the Night and her new collab with the DJ Rehab, spelled R3HAB. That is for Dream of You, and that choreography is cool as well. But Stay the Night looks the coolest in formation. And speaking of formations, on this list I put all of Everglow's videos, but of course the ones this year, La Di Da, which is a very superhero comic-esque movie intro video of sorts, and also Dun Dun, because Everglow is really cool in the sense that they could trick non-fans that think that the band is like 20 people, but the way that they have giant formations with a ton of backup dancers is tricky, and it looks very cool. A fun way to make people lead people on and into a false assumption about group size, and just in general it looks very cool, of course. Irene and Sulgi with Naughty, which was a B-side that eventually became a single that was promoted, has a really cool hand and arm dance movement that is really looks easy but is hard to replicate, and those are some of the coolest dance moves when they look easy but they're not. Jessie's Nunu Nana, because it became a summer anthem and just a fun dance-along video. In that video, she also has her signature confidence and her cool, colorful style that she's become known for, so it's just a very Jessie video, so props to her for staying true to herself. Lastly, BDC with Shoot the Moon. Not just for the formations and choreography, but actually the actual filming and lighting is very cool. The way that they use shadows to add to the dance moves and telling the story, I found very artistic. The videos that deserve an honorable mention for the storyline that just caused my intrigue and curiosity. First of all, Eric Nam with Paradise. In the video for Paradise, he's watching an infomercial of sorts of himself. So he's playing the character in the infomercial, promoting to him a view of a better him. You want to become a better Eric Nam? You know, call this number on your screen right now type of vibe. He does meet up in person eventually with this other Eric Nam, who hands him this note that says, "Live your life." So he literally faces himself and realizes the key to becoming a better him is just to live more and be unapologetic, live with no regrets, go for it, etc. You miss every shot you don't take. It's just a refreshing way to convey that cliche message. The message is a cool irony because the song's called Paradise and it's about paradise, but he's lost in it. And the lyric "lost in this paradise" is an oxymoron of sorts. And the music video shows that contrast too, where he's clearly not happy in this so-called paradise that he was promised through the commercial. Number 2, Golden Child, Lucid Dream, aka 1. That video I just made an honorable mention because, similar for the reason I also put as number 3, One Us with Come Back Home on this list. Those videos are very intriguing to watch, and I feel like there's a lot there to interpret. They're symbolism heavy, perhaps, and they have a very cool overall vibe. They set a mood, and so that's always impressive with a video when it conveys a certain mood. It's immersive to watch in that way. But I just made them honorable mentions only because I wanted more from those videos. Maybe I'm just not hardcore of a fan of them enough to get all the references they may have layered in there, but if that's not the case, then it just felt like a lot of symbolism without the story, and I wanted both together, so I would have hoped for more of a plot. But those were still both intriguing videos, and maybe they were more to be continued than I realized, so they still get shoutouts. TXT is also really good at the to be continued theme, and so more of their videos have to be on my honorable mentions list. We Lost the Summer, I kind of love, kind of don't, because I love that it's relatable, and they're on these Zoom calls and stuff all day, and singing about this pandemic summer we had. But I also don't want to see any more Zoom screens, even with the dog in one of them. It would just, so it's a cute, relatable video, but it can't be one of my favorites because I'm just tired of Zoom screens and backgrounds, no matter who is doing them, even the dog. Can't You See Me continued their story in a cool way. That's the video where they're having this house party of sorts with food fights and stuff, and they're just goofing off. But then you see that the house is in flames, and so that escalated quickly. It's got these lyrics about this abandoned island, a forgotten memory. Like, they're reminiscing about the days when the food fight stayed just fun and wholesome and didn't turn into a mess. And now life isn't like that anymore. It's not as simple now that they're growing up. They have lyrics like, it's just a painful dream now. So it really embodies the whole overall message that keeps the storyline constant and relevant in the TXT world. And similar, but a little more symbolic rather than plot-driven, was the TXT video for Puma, where there were all of these members in different situations of distress. Like, Taehyun was literally in chains. Bumgyu was lying on the ground surrounded by all these little flames and arrows, and they're really in distress here, but they try to break out of their literal chains. B2B For You, the subunit for B2B, their video for Show Your Love, I probably would have liked more if I was a movie buff, because apparently they had a lot of classic movie references in there, so make sure you watch that if you're into that stuff, and you may really appreciate it. Max from TVXQ went solo for the song Chocolate, which I put on this list as an honorable mention because I wished it was longer than 2 minutes and 30 seconds or however, at least it feels that short. So I would have wanted it to be longer, and I'm also still holding a grudge because the song is not on Spotify and I can't find it, and I don't know why it's not on Spotify anymore. And so I'm hoping that it's just a distribution change. So I'm still upset by that. So a mark down for that album and song just out of frustration. Somi for What You Waiting For. First of all, it has that TikTok ready challenge with the ring the alarm part of the bridge. The minute I heard that at first, even before it was a big TikTok challenge, I knew it would become one. It just is that catchy. Second of all, it's a cool concept. I would have loved to see developed more, but it was a really cool idea that was executed where Somi is 7 different versions of herself. So Somi literally faces herself and literally forces herself into these situations, yet at the same time she's also wrecking her own party. One of the Somis actually has a whole truck and a construction site truck and wrecking ball and everything, and literally crashes the house party, crashes the party. So there's the blue dress Somi, the silver dress Somi, pajama Somi, the little black dress Somi, all these different Somis that are at different stages of ready to go out and be social. And the outfits really help convey the message, which I always like in a video. And it also has just a message of she's telling herself, what you waiting for? Let's get out there and try things, and things will be messy along the way, literally messy, but it's worth trying and having those adventures anyway. Lastly, for the storytelling category here, I will say Monsta X with Love Killa, because that added to their storyline in cool ways. Another one that I would probably appreciate more if I was a movie buff, because they each said they conveyed a different movie villain, they channeled a different movie villain, and those references may have gone over my head. Except for, I did notice that Juhani was very much like the Joker, and I actually thought about that and was reminded of the Joker before I even realized that he overtly had tried to channel the Joker, and so when he admitted that, I was very proud of myself for realizing that. The next category of music videos that deserve shoutouts are the animated videos, especially because this year, due to quarantining, social distancing, etc., it was a lot harder to film and produce new music videos, so a lot of artists had to turn towards animation to make that easier and safer, and props to every artist who did that. It was experimental, it was a risk, and it cannot pay off sometimes because you're trying to bring to life a story, and sometimes in the 2D world that just doesn't translate. But these artists managed to hold the power of their song's message or vibe, anthemic atmosphere of the song. All the mood was able to stay intact even in 2D, which I'm very impressed with. So shout out to these three artists, in addition to the artists we've already talked about, Lee Soo-hyun and Flying, their animated videos, but the other three. Yoonha and RM with Winter Flower, Even of Day with Where the Sea Sleeps, and aespa with Black Mamba. And side note, we didn't talk about this when I was reacting to aespa's debut in a previous episode, but I really love the attention to detail in their teaser posters. They included this collage of cassette prints and other album prints in the background of the photos for the promo pictures, which included promo pictures of Britney Spears from the iconic Stephen Klein photo shoot. So just a shout out, I see you Britney fan, aespa members. Anyway, so I appreciated that. Also, the aesthetics of the Black Mamba video gave me 1 billion views vibes in a way. It was quite a Technicolor year for SM Entertainment artists, I guess. So I'm very curious how aespa's storyline progresses, and that's really why I wanted to highlight their video for Black Mamba, because like I've talked about at length on previous episodes, it's a very cool concept to merge their avatar characters with their physical selves, and now they're meeting their 2D selves in this new world, and the video really set up that plot. The exposition feels like it was being built up to something, and so it leaves you wanting to stay tuned to find out what happens not just to the aespa members, but to their alter ego 2D avatars as well. The music videos that deserve a shout out just for giving me an ultimate mood boost and for exuding charisma. Have to say Stray Kids first of all, because Backdoor and God's Menu and basically any Stray Kids video ever brings the energy every time. And I also love how in the Backdoor video it's quite a party atmosphere, and it let my tinfoil hat theory side of my brain really get activated because of the Monsters Inc.-esque rows of moving doors in the video, and we've talked about that theory that I threw out there already, but anyway, so it just let my imagination run wild, and it matched the energy of the song, which for Stray Kids means that it has to be a super high energy video for that to work. Although Stray Kids does have some more sentimental songs like X, and the video for that is equally powerful, I would argue, just not the same kind of energy, but still it leaves an emotional impact with the viewer, just like the song does. That is the video we've talked about before, where they are all in this house, but they're spread out and they're wearing bed sheets, so it's like all these ghosts, and they can't see each other, they're not of this world, you know, they don't feel like they're in the same world because they're just in different rooms. It's just quite a powerful take on feeling like you don't know someone anymore, and I think relationships for people quarantined together this year, really that represented them quite well, in a way that left a lot up to interpretation, which is always great about music videos. I'm just going to really fast go through the rest of my list of videos that deserve to be in this category of getting a shout out for being so high energy and bringing the charisma. And Flying with Oh Really, TOO with Count 1-2, EXO SC featuring Moon with 1 billion views, NCT Dream with Riding, Gravity with Cloud9, NCTU with 90s Love, all Bull 4 videos like Hug and Dancing Cartoon we already talked about, Rocket Punch with Bouncy, and Zico with Rain for Summer Hate. When I was making my top 50 list for music videos of the year, I decided that short films wouldn't count, but I still want to give some short film versions of music videos shoutouts, starting with, of course, Kai with his short film. We talked about that a lot in the episode called Introducing Kai. Next, TXT with Eternally, which was like a 20-ish minute short film that went with the song. That I don't want to recap blow by blow because that would take forever, and we already did in the episode all about TXT. I would like to highlight a few of the lyrics and the text that appeared on the screen during each part of that video, because the text on its own can speak volumes and will hopefully intrigue you and convince you to check out the whole thing. Section 1, Night of the Last Day. On the night of the last day, the world lay in shattered ruins. Darkness descended on the boys and the night. Memories of a destined future draped slowly over them. The boys asked as they wandered the nightmare maze, "Are there no other choices for us?" The boys were thrown into confusion. And at that point in the video, that's when all these dark winged creatures started flying in to this stormy sky. Section 2, Son of a Star. Please stop this recurring nightmare every night, your hand's just out of reach. I always tear up after waking up from a familiar dream. Section 3 is called Promise. I thought it was Salvation then. Section 4 is called Room 17. Dance that summons a nightmare, wait again through this dream. Which side do I need to trust? Section 5 is called Moratorium of Rest. Eternal dream, the deepest abyss. We will find a way. Section 6, Girl of Eternity. I reach out but my hands touch nothing. Section 7, The Beginning of the End. In the blink of an eye, the boys felt they've returned from a long journey. The widening space between us, scribbles that unfold before our eyes, wait again through this dream. In fear, the boys asked, was it all nothing more than a dream? The boys did not know that this was but the start of the chaotic turmoil. They mentioned this is just the beginning, and that is when the short film stops. Similar suspense is built up from Monsta X's series of mini videos that went along with the official music video for the single Fantasia. The Fantasia video and all of the trailers leading up to it we talked about in the latest Monsta X episode. So the only recap I will give here is that it is a story divided up into 3 main sections. One is called A Story Fantasia, one is called Another Story X, and then the last part is Our Story Fantasia X. That follows the members' journey to find this key, basically, and use it, and reunite after one of the members succeeds in getting access to the key and whatever it unlocks, which is to be determined. A few last-minute music videos I want to shout out. Sehun's solo video for On Me, his solo track on XOSC's album, just because of the cute puppy cameo. Dawn's video for Dawn Diddy Dawn, which featured Jessie, not just because that album made my list for the top 20 albums of the year, because it just brought this really unique, cool vibe that was so Dawn of him, and he's already carved out this unique identity as a singer, so I wanted to show that I admire that. And in addition to that, the music video itself just gives me an Edward Scissorhands vibe with his outfit and the makeup and just the way just his grin and stuff. Just trust me, watch the video and tell me Dawn does not look like Edward Scissorhands there. There are also some great Japanese releases and accompanying music videos from K-pop artists that came out this year, but I will save those recaps for the J-pop and C-pop video episode of the show. Tune in for the rest of this year's episodes for more countdowns and a preview of more of what to expect from the show going forward. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you all soon.